So it is my desire, my purpose to be a guide for women like you that are here, that you could have been just laying in the couch and turning on your TV or, browsing through Facebook or Instagram, but you're here and you're seeking that next level of success. Not only with money, but you're about to learn much more than that. So thanks for being here, and let's continue moving forward. I'm going to be moving forward to this winning mindset because the mind controls not only our thoughts, but our actions. And before we get to that part, I want to ask you, what if at the end of your life, you have to choose between having a great deal of money or having an amazing impact on the world? What would you choose? By experience, I can tell you that most of us would prefer to create a bigger impact. But what about if you could have both? Like have your cake and eat it too. Well, to be able to have the best of both worlds, we start with this winning mindset. And it all starts by these steps. So here are some of the steps we're going to follow. And whether you're catching up with your retirement plan or you already have accumulated a good, comfortable amount of funds, we're going to start with your why, understanding your specific why. This is absolutely critical for your long-term success. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Everybody talks about their purpose, their meaning in life, and it has been played out. Yes. But I have not seen anything that gets to the heart as simple as the exercise we're about to do. I learned this from Dean Graziosi. He paid $10,000 to an expert to come to his company and teach him and his employees how to improve things. He said that this was one of the biggest things that created the most impact in his life. So you ready? So here's how we're going to get started. Get a piece of paper or print this page from your course. It's one of the worksheets. We're going to start by asking ourselves 7 questions. It is called the 7 levels deep for a reason. And you're going to see how we are going to go one by one, asking ourselves questions and answering them. I want to start by asking you this. Why are you taking this course? Perhaps you're going to say, because I want to be successful. Great. Write that down. And then the next question is, why is becoming successful important to you? Think about that and answer. Maybe you will say, because I want to be comfortable later in life. Write that down. Then go to the next question. Why is being comfortable later in life important to you? And you're going to say maybe because I don't want to struggle my entire life. I want to be comfortable. Now the next level is, why is not struggling in life important? Maybe you're going to say, because I saw my mother working until she died and I don't want to be the same. Now you get in the riff, right? The whole point of this is asking the previous question. It's simple, but I'll tell you what, after you get past the 4th or the 5th question, something incredible happens. It happened to me. It's like you start switching from your mind to your heart. You don't even notice. I remember my whole posture changed. I was sitting differently. My demeanor changed. I even felt tears coming down. I had a gulp on my throat. And it was right between the 6th and the 7th question that I really discovered my why. I've done plenty of exercises before with life coaches, but this one got me. I discovered that I wanted to succeed in life because I had all the odds against me. Personally, this is how I felt. I felt like an immigrant girl who had a terrible childhood, who had a husband that left her with a child and no money. I wanted to prove that I can be the anomaly, that I can be a winner, and to shut people off like my ex. That was my why. That was my 7th answer. And yes, I had tears and I couldn't believe that at the end, that was my why. Why is this so important? Because the moments that you're going to be tired, exhausted, that you want to procrastinate, or that you want to just boost yourself with some doses of energy, you're going to go back to this exercise, to this sheet, and you're going to go back and see your why. You're going to see why you're going to do the exercises, follow this course. Why you're going to talk more about family, why you're going to perhaps create a bigger impact in your community. This is your why and your reason. Perhaps when you started this course, you might have some thoughts of why you're studying, why you wanted to learn more about finances. And that's very valid. But, there's more to it. There's more about, I want more money, or I just want a better job, or a different job, or I want to retire and start my vacation right away. It's deeper. And this exercise is going to give you that clarity that you need to keep moving forward. What I noticed is that in finances, people start investing with the wrong why first. And we need to go ahead and switch that around. Yes, there is a why in finances. Now, number one, we want to discover the real reason of why you want to invest. Second, we want to identify the target. Why do you feel, or that number per se, of when you have reached a goal? Something that makes you to say, yes, I made it. From there, you're going to create the investment strategy that is going to mirror that fulfillment, that level of achievement. Are you following me? So you start with your why. You follow by a goal, a measurement amount of money per se, or something that you want to create, and you continue it with a strategy. Now, people, that's when I see them, they get in trouble because they do reverse engineering. They start with investing. That's when they dump all the money in first. Just invest and you figure it out later. Then they say, once I reach the 1 million, 2 million, or 5 million, that they will feel fulfilled, that they reached their goal, the yay moment, right? But they don't think their why until later, until there's time to pull out the alarm clock. By then, many things can change. It's not until the time for you to unplug the alarm clock that many people start thinking about their why. I remember this gentleman that walked into my office, sharply dressed, very well presented, and he sat with me and we talked about his plans for retirement. He said, Andrea, my wife and I had a dream. She couldn't wait for me to retire. She loved to travel. Actually, her favorite thing was when they go in trips, she wanted to be at the airport earlier so she can sit down and observe people, because she said that it was the funniest thing she would ever see. She saw people running through the gates. She saw families. She saw moms arguing with the kids to hurry up, couples holding hands, people working. She loved that. And she always said to him, hold my hand while we walk through the airports. He said that that was exactly their plans for retirement. Sadly, within 2 years from his retirement date, she fell ill and she died of cancer. And as he's telling me this story, his eyes filled with tears, because he said to me, Andrea, I don't care how much money I have in the bank. I don't want to retire. I have no reason to retire anymore. Who am I going to walk through the airports with? Now you see the importance of having a why? Yeah. And that why can change, like it changed to this gentleman. And thankfully, through our planning, holistic approach of things, he was able to readjust and refine a new why in his life. This experience ties in perfectly with how achievement is completely different from fulfillment. My client had achieved great wealth, a wonderful marriage, but his retirement lifestyle was not fulfilled. It didn't matter how much money was in the bank or how much time he was going to have free from now on. He had no reason, no why. Thankfully, through some life coaching and clarity sessions, we were able to have him regain a new purpose, a new path in life. And he seems much happier now as well. It's all about a holistic approach. So money is not just about money. It's also about that fulfillment. That's what is going to take you there. Think about two parallel lines, achievement and fulfillment. One without the other is not going to take you that further out. We need achievement to carry on what fulfills our hearts. Our subconscious is so different than our conscious mind. If you look at the diagram, you're going to see that our thoughts that our actual conscious mind is above water. It's only the tip of the iceberg. The rest is submerged. Those are subconscious thoughts. I'll give you a good illustration there. I don't know if you have ever bought a car. I know I have. And after I bought the vehicle, I saw it everywhere. Every person had this kind of like, really? And I tried to be different and I like cars. So I wanted to be very specific with my vehicle and have a specific model type and torque. And I saw it everywhere. That's just how your subconscious, before it didn't analyze that, and then after it did. So it has so much to do with our thoughts in our subconscious. A lot of the information you have in your head about money is in your subconscious. And this section is going to talk about how we're going to most probably readjust that subconscious, bring it up to a higher, different level and reprogram it. Now, we have stored in our mind a lot of different beliefs, and a lot of them come from our childhood. We have observed and modeled a lot of things perhaps from our parents, from our teachers, from our grandparents, or just from the environment around us. Maybe you have heard somebody in the family say, money is evil, or money causes way too many problems, or the more money they have, the more problems you're gonna get. Money is never enough, or I don't have enough money, or I always buy things in sale because I cannot afford that. Either way, all those things, all those subconscious beliefs gets implanted right here. And without knowing it, you are reliving them. Identify that negative talk about money. After that, I want you to think about who you heard those words from. Who said that to you? So once you identify those, rewrite that in a positive sense about money. So if someone says to you, more money, more problems, you're going to rewrite that and say, more money, more solutions. You get that? Positive affirmations is key. Sometimes I had those sticky notes and I put them all throughout my mirror or my dresser or my computer. Positive things, positive affirmations, we do it all the time, but it's also great to do them with money. So now we're making it to the nitty-gritty of retirement accounts. And this is where all these crazy acronyms might come to mind. So let's take some time to go over them. For some of you that are more experienced in investing, perhaps you're already very familiar with this terminology. For some of you, let me just go back to some basics. Let's start with a 401k. So this 401k is being set up by these corporations. They set up in about 15 to 20 options for you to put your money in. Your funds get withdrawn from your paycheck every 2 weeks or a monthly basis, get put it into these accounts that they select for you. And this money is pre-tax, which means that you have not paid taxes on this money, but you will once you start withdrawing from it. So you do get an advantage per se, because you don't have to pay taxes on this money yet. So they give you a break up front. For 2021 and 2020, the average of those funds that you can accumulate depends if you're single or you're married. And if you're older than 59 and a half, you'll be able to do what is called, if you're older than 50, you'll be able to do a catch-up. Now, 401ks are interesting in itself. Because people say, oh, my 401k is safe from the market. That's good. They have some target funds. But also be mindful that 401ks went down in 2008. They're still investing your money in the market, so it goes up and down. We're going to go into more detail a little bit later. Let's go to IRAs. IRAs are also another type of retirement account. IRAs are also funded with pre-tax money that you have not paid taxes yet. Now, IRAs are different than 401ks in the sense that you have more flexibility with them. Instead of 15 to 20 options, you actually have a world at your disposal of where to invest your money. It can be put in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you name it, it's in there. More flexibility, but both of them, a 401k and an IRA, runs pretty similar, with the exception of this. With a 401k, you can withdraw money from that 401k if you're younger than 59 and a half with a penalty. With an IRA, you have to leave it alone and you cannot touch it until you're 59 and a half. We're going to talk about dates later on in years, but be mindful. Some people do think of a 401k as a savings account, and I don't want you to think that way. It's for retirement, but you can touch a 401k in case you need it. As a matter of fact, because of COVID, the government allowed people to touch their 401ks as a way to sustain themselves during the pandemic without the penalty that they always impose on people if you're younger than 59 and a half, which is 10%. But that ended on December 2020. So moving forward in your retirement gamma of things, perhaps you have a SEP, S-E-P. SEP are actually for people that work for themselves independently. Instead of working for a company that will have your 401k, you have a SEP that is an independent retirement account. You can set it up with a bank account. You can call one of your investment companies and they'll be able to set that up for you as well. Sometimes you do need an accountant to guide you through it because being your own employer, you have to make sure that you are able to have some filing set in place to prove that you have this retirement account. Works the same way as the other accounts. Perhaps you have heard about Roth, R-O-T-H. I do like Roth a lot. I'll tell you why. Roth accounts are also established for retirement money, but unlike the other ones, you do pay taxes up front, but they will grow tax-free after that. Why do I say this, that I like them? Because taxes are going to go up. Think about the pandemic that we still living through it. The government around the world, all kinds of governments have injected more money into their economy. But how are they going to recuperate all that money? Are they going to go target the Generation X or Z? No. There is more money in retirement accounts than anything else in the world. So guess who they're going to target? Us, you, the people that has money in these very nice retirement accounts. There's over billions of dollars in retirement accounts that the government wants to put their hands in there so that they can start helping paying for the upset of the economy. So let's continue moving forward to other types of accounts. If you're a teacher or professor, perhaps you've seen in your portfolio what is called a 403b. So 403bs are designed exactly for you. It's another way of saying you have a retirement account. Very specific. If you're a teacher or professor, most probably you do have a very nice medical plan attached to it. Another type of retirement account is a TSP, Thrift Savings Plan. Sometimes it's an annuity plan in itself, but we will explain that in another moment. This is just another way of having a retirement plan. Pensions. Well, pensions, like I said, they're becoming more of the dinosaurs in retirement because you hardly see them anymore. But a pension is it's a way for you to start withdrawing money after you start retiring. Be mindful too that a lot of companies would jump together your pension with your Social Security and give you an amount of money that you're supposed to start receiving. Once you see that statement from HR, be mindful of it. They are grouping together your Social Security money with that pension money to give you an X amount of dollars. And then you're going to be collecting on a monthly basis. So those two should be separated. But pensions are great. You're going to have also an option of deciding if you're going to collect a pension single or with a percentage given to your spouse. So if you say, I want to collect 100% of my money, which means that after you pass away, none of that money will go to a spouse if you're married. But you might say, I want 50% of that money to be given to me, and once I pass away, my spouse will continue with 50% of that income until that spouse passes away. So you have that option. Again, the more you want to leave for your spouse, the less you're going to be collecting in your life. There are other ways to do that. There's more robust planning when it comes to inheritance and legacy, and income planning for your spouse or second generation. So we will be able to talk more on the next module about that. So let's talk about required minimum distribution. You see the acronyms RMD display in several places. Be mindful that this is when you need to start withdrawing from your retirement accounts. The government gives you a lapse of time where you can just let it deferred, don't worry about the accounts, but when it comes to a specific age, the government wants a piece of that pie. So that's what RMD stands for, required minimum distribution. It used to be 70 and a half, but after the pandemic, it has been pushed back to 72. 70 and a half is exactly, I still want you to be mindful of that time frame because we need to start getting prepared. Now, 72, now the new era, the new age of retirement for those accounts, the withdrawal rate is 4%, 3 point and some change. So I rounded up to 4%. All that means is if you have not touched your retirement accounts by age 72, you must. Otherwise, you're going to be penalized. And the penalty is 50%, one of the highest of all, which is pretty unfair for retirees. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you have that in your planning, specifically income planning. So when it comes to retirement accounts, there's a big gamma. There's different ways for you to put money on the side. And the whole point of this is for you to start putting money on the side for retirement little by little so you don't feel the money coming all at once, which is great. Is filling up the little pot of gold 1 month at a time. But more than that, it's about the exact retirement ages, the dates that we need to keep in mind. I spoke a little bit about RMDs, right? Required minimum distribution in the age of 70 and a half and now 72. But let's go back to other dates that you need to keep in mind. I don't know if you have any nephews or nieces or any children and you ask them, how old are you? And they will tell you, oh, I'm 6, or I'm 6 and a half, or 6 3/4. Those half are really important, not only for the children, but also for the government, because full retirement age is also divided in half. So let's go back to 59 and a half is the first date that I want you to keep in mind. 59 and a half is when you are allowed to start withdrawing from your retirement accounts. Okay? If you withdraw prior to 59 and a half, you're gonna get penalized. 10% penalty. So I don't want you to do that. After 59 and a half, you will be allowed to start withdrawing from your accounts, or if you have a 401k from one employer, you'll be allowed to to do a rollover of the account into another investment tool like an IRA. Besides that, you have 62, which 62 is considered the beginning of retirement age. That's when you look at your Social Security post and you see the retirement eras starting at 62. Full retirement age is at 66. And actually, if you think about Social Security, they count at 66 and a half. So full retirement age, think of 66 and a half, to be honest, from that Social Security standpoint. 70 is full retirement age. That's when you can no longer leave your Social Security alone. You have to start withdrawing from Social Security at 70, which is a whole other subject as well, because Social Security is one of those retirement accounts that are being set aside from the government. But in quite honesty, Social Security is not going to be there for us. At least not in the capacity that is being established. It's going to be reduced. So Social Security full retirement age for you to start withdrawing will be 70. That's it. You cannot postpone it any longer. I do get asked this question since we're talking about Social Security. People ask me, Andrea, when should I start withdrawing my Social Security? Should I start at 62, 66, or should I wait until 70? It's a great question. But it's also driven by your tax bracket. And sometimes it makes you think, what makes more sense to start withdrawing from? My pocket or the bucket of money that the government has with my name? And then longevity. Am I going to be around to start utilizing this money for a long period of time? So there's different factors. But the bottom line is that the break-even point is past 80 years old. So if you have longevity in your family line, you'll be able to take the benefits even if you start at 62. There's not too little sense in there. But that's what happens with Social Security and different ages that I want you to be mindful of. So as a takeaway, as soon as you hit 70, because I still want you to keep in mind that time frame of age of 70, start talking to your financial advisor. Make sure that they're getting you prepared and ready to start optimizing and withdrawing from your retirement accounts if you haven't done so. Even though the dates have pushed to 72, it's okay. Just get in the habit of getting yourself ready at 70 if you haven't done that yet. So now that we're done talking about dates and ages and things that talk about retirement minimum distribution, let's move on to who is your advisor. This is so important because a lot of people ask me, Andrea, what kind of advisor are you? Or are all advisors the same? No, they're not. And this is so important for you to understand who is guiding you in the spectrum of your retirement planning, because not everyone is an expert in a field. Just think about this. If you have an issue with your foot, will you go to the podiatrist or the cardiologist? Well, obviously you go to the podiatrist, right? Because you have something on your foot. It's the same thing. They're both doctors, but they have different specialties. Well, it's the same thing in the financial industry. They're different experts. You cannot pretend or expect the advisor that helped you with your retirement planning in your early years to be the same one once you're getting ready to retire. It's two different mindsets. Number one, when you are growing your money, you're trying to be more aggressive in the areas of investments. But once you're in retirement, your mind changes from accumulation to preservation and distribution. There are different kinds of advisors as well. Even on those areas, some of them are captive and some of them are independent. Captive advisors work for big companies. Edward Jones, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. They have what is called suitability. That means that they have to prove that whatever plan they're providing for your solutions, that you qualify for them, that you're suitable. And that's how they made that recommendation. Now, there's not a whole lot of disclaimation of fees. They pretty much are grouped together. But there's a law that has been in the works for the past 4 or 5 years, the Department of Labor law, that is going to make all advisors around the United States be able to disclaim not only all fees, but be completely transparent and have fiduciary responsibility. And that's something very, very important, because now in the present moment, only independent advisors have what is called that fiduciary responsibility. That means that they have to put your interests ahead of theirs. They're not just guided by commissions. They have to prove that whatever solutions they're proposing for you, that this is in your best interest and not in theirs. So does it matter who is your advisor? Yes. Does it matter who works for? Absolutely. There is a big misconception when regards to how much do you need to be able to hire an advisor. Yes, in the financial industry, advisors, we do make good amount of money. We get paid well, but at the same time, it's not just about commissions. It's about guiding your client, being able to make sure that they are able to accomplish and surpass their financial needs. So if you have a retirement account, chances are that you do qualify to hire an advisor. Now, just because this course is guided for women who are over 50, I'm assuming that you already have those accounts. For younger generations, they're just starting. And because they're just starting, there's a whole different approach for that. If you hired an independent advisor, a lot of them work out of commissions, meaning that you don't pay them up front, depending on the strategies that they utilize for you. they get paid out by these other entities or companies that they helping you with solutions. So they pay the advisors directly, but not out of your own pocket. And that's just some of the strategies that they use. There's other ways that we make money depending on the investment portfolio as well. But the majority of independent advisors have a different structure of how they get paid. They both have to show disclaimers. They're heavily regulated as well. Why? We don't want to lose our livelihood. We want to make sure that we are able to disclaim everything that is necessary for you. And we also want to make sure that we are protected. So now that we talked about advisors, the ones that are captive versus the ones that are independent, there's also a big difference between the planning that takes place behind the scenes. Now there is the planning, and then there is the investing side. And the planning considers more than just putting money in one bucket. It involves more about your emotional goals. We spoke about your why prior to it. Yes, all of that is part of that holistic approach. You think about the best possible outcome in case something happens with plan A, plan B, and plan C's. The investing in itself, when you have that approach, is just that. Is the concept of investing just to obtain gains. Doesn't normally consider taxation costs or minimization of taxes or medical coverage for you and your loved ones. Income planning or maybe even inheritance protection hardly gets spoken of when you're just investing. So again, it's different mindsets that goes with different types of advisors and different types of experts.